be a SummerSlam. But honestly, I really do see more money in next year at WrestleMania, if I'm being honest. But I think Braun goes over. What about for you, Matt? Who do you see winning this one?
Yeah, I think now you've just said that has actually put me into that line of thinking. I'm thinking Roman coming back with an injury, it doesn't do damage to Roman, does it? Because you can argue that he wasn't 100%. So yeah, Braun going over on this one does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's all for that. We have to see how that goes. Into all this and see how we get on. Be interesting. Okay, another thing to bring up. Now, of course, we said this ages ago, and I think I brought these whole odd things up with the bookies. I think, didn't we say somewhere like January, Matt, that they already took bets on like who was going to walk out WrestleMania, the Universal Champion, and even by that point, everyone was saying Brock Lesnar, weren't they? This time, we've got early odds on WWE Money in the Bank. And just as I'll throw it out there to you, Matt, who do you think is current favourite with the bookies? I'll let you have two goes, Matt. I'll let you have two goes.
Money in the Bank. So I say Sami Zayn?
Close. He's fifth. He's fifth favourite, but not him. He's
okay. And who else we got? This is I'm just going off my top of my head of people that I actually think could do with it. But if we're going for a full WWE kind of thing, it better not be someone like Mojo though.
No, thankfully not. He's out of the question. But I would have been thinking the same lines. No, funny enough, Baron Corbin has hit the front runnings. And he's very much firm favourite, but he's joint favourite with somebody else. The both of them are miles apart from anyone else, and that is Shinsuke Nakamura. But if I'm honest with you, I think it makes more sense for Baron Corbin in this sense. Because I think Shinsuke is the kind of guy, the kind of wrestler and babyface that, he needs just the big match rather than being a guy that cashes it in. I don't see Shinsuke Nakamura doing that so well. And carrying around the briefcase, I just don't think it works well with Nakamura. But Baron Corbin, I think that would work well with him, and would suit him, and would elevate him a little bit more. I think he definitely needs it, because I thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania a little bit more, but that certainly didn't happen. So that's the early front runners there, and of course, nothing to be messed with, because it seems WWE don't bother looking at these things and think to themselves, let's really throw it out there and change everything so nobody knows, because it literally did stay like that. So they're the front runners so far, Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura, which, to be fair, I think even if Nakamura did win, I don't think you'd have too many complaints going into that. I'm guessing Nakamura would possibly be involved in that kind of match, but I just don't see him with the briefcase. I don't think it would suit him from a character point of view, in all honesty. Okay, well, other news from around, just looking at things that are around us, and of course, I don't know if you've heard about this, Matt, but rumours that The Undertaker still might not be done. What do you think about that then?
Oh, I've got to think there's a lot of wishful thinking from people out there.
That's the way I feel.
I think you get this a lot sometimes. It was like with Shawn Michaels, wasn't it? People still wanting to come back for that one more match, but I think when it's time to go, you got to let go. And I think with Undertaker, the way that he did it, for me, it feels just like the way Undertaker should retire. So I can't really see him coming back. There's no better way to go out than what he did, just to go out in peace like that and with respect. I mean, if he was to come back, he'd have to find another way to retire. I don't think you can really top it.
No, I'm totally with you there. You just aren't going to get any better than that, are you? Quite frankly, and he deserves Hall of Fame whenever, straight away, if it has to be next year. And I think get that done. And I think once he's in there, it stops people speculating a little bit more as well. So I feel like WWE would have cause to do that a bit sooner to stop that speculation. But we will see. We will see what we see. Okay, guys, gives me time now to let you guys know about our great sponsor on the show, which is, of course, WrestleCrate.co.uk. And guys, I encourage you to go over there, check it out on the website. Said this every time, and believe it or not, my WrestleCrate, it came, Matt, and yours did as well. And I know Matt hasn't opened these yet, but let me tell you, I was not disappointed. I've got to say there was a lot more in it than I thought, so that was really cool. And I got a fantastic top. I'm not going to reveal any of it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And that's part of the fun, is when you open these things up, you don't know what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be wrestling. And of course, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to be happy. But there was some great things. You won't get these anywhere else. Some of this stuff either. I will say one thing: not one DVD, but 2 DVDs. You just will not get these matches anywhere else. Even streaming stuff, you won't get them. So, really, really good for that. I'll give that away, and of course, you get a T-shirt every single time. And I was very, very pleased with the T-shirt I got because it kind of, it's very much in relation to what's been going on lately. I'll leave it at that. And of course, if you guys, if you think to yourself, I can't afford a lot of money a month, it's a very good. There's 2 different classes that you can get. There's a standard Wrestle Crate, which is $11.99. It's a really good deal. Or if you want to go for the Ultimate Wrestle Crate subscription, again, £21.99. It's a really good deal. If you want to treat yourself once a month, it's like treating yourself to a surprise of wrestling goodies, wrestling merchandise from all over different promotions. Then treat yourself with Wrestle Crate box, and I think you'll like it. I was not disappointed in myself. Matt's going to be getting his actually tomorrow, so Matt will be getting his tomorrow, no doubt. Before we get to the questions, Matt, I guess we as this is going to be our finale podcast episode of the Wrestling Skull podcast, and if you're just tuning in or you haven't heard us before, this is the last one. But myself and Matt are not done. We are coming back in June. Under a new banner, under the new title of Wrestle Line. We're going to be doing a brand new series. And listen, we're always open to suggestions. And this is how this has come about. So if you guys want to email us, the Wrestling Skull Podcast at gmail.com is still going to be in use. So email us there. If you want to get in touch with us, whilst we're not around, still email me there for now, because I'll still take your messages. We're still going to have the Facebook page up. Don't feel like you have to come off that Facebook page, because that is literally going to roll into one, and we're going to go under Wrestle Line. But we're going to be doing themes on wrestlers' timelines with loads of information. We're going to be using the Wrestling Observer. We're going to go back in time really properly and give you lots of in-depth news, things that you might not have heard about that was going on at the time. Things like even kind of money, what kind of money people were getting, what was reported people were getting for certain matches, and all the different things that were going on. So I'm really looking forward to it, because I know you guys definitely enjoy when we go back and do the retrospective stuff. So this is going to be really good for me and Matt to get into. But Matt, we are, of course, next month we're going to be going to WWE Raw, and of course you're going to both Raw and SmackDown. And of course, this it's coming up quite soon. In fact, us in the UK, we get it twice a year, Raw and SmackDown plus an NXT. Are you looking forward to this one, Matt? So far, with what's been going on, or are you going to be anticipating what happens at Payback a little bit?
No, I always look forward to a live show. It's always good atmosphere there, and especially being in the UK. I'm not being biased here, but that the audience does make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with.
Sure.
I'm sure Payback will be fine, but I think personally, from a personal standpoint, I'll be much more interested in the live shows, because I've only ever been to recorded events once before, and that was with you when I went to SummerSlam and Takeover.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to see how it's changed since then, or whether they're using the same tricks when the camera's off. It'll be interesting and educational as well.
Yes, I'm interested in my education for tonight is going to be the whole purple rope changing. I want to see how they do that. I want to see what people's response is to it when they start taping it all up, how long it takes them, what the video goes up while they're doing it. because I just think it's the most painful process. I just have to see this thing live. I've heard about it from loads of emails, people that are there, and they say it's the one thing that really takes you out of 205 and cruiserweights is this moment when this comes on. And I really still to this day, I don't understand why WWE makes such a point of doing the whole purple rope thing when they have their own show now called 205. So obviously this is Raw. You know, this is in the middle of Raw. I don't think we have to have purple ropes just to make sure, you know, the viewer coming on definitely knows they're cruiserweights because of the purple ropes. It seems very odd to me. Matt, one thing we didn't mention, I think we should mention it. I forgot to bring this up actually in the Roman Braun match is, of course, what happened last week on Raw with the whole, you know, that spot being done, which is odd because when it happened to the Big Show and the ring collapsed between him and Big Show, Brock Lesnar and Big Show many years ago. What was that? I'd probably say it was in, was that 2003, something like that? That spot happened, I believe, somewhere like that anyway. It might have been, yeah, I think it was 2003. But it's amazing, Matt, that WWE have not gone back to that, because that's the sort of thing that once that happens, WWE can't, they just can't be patient enough for it not to do it again. Was you surprised that they did it, or did you feel like this was going to be on the cards when that was announced? And you know, Braun was throwing everybody about backstage. And by the way, I do want to say one thing. I do feel sorry for poor old Kalisto. I mean, of all the people to choose, why Kalisto? I really did not understand that. You know, gets chucked in the bin. He could have done it to any guy on that roster, just the size of this guy. But like, why have the guy that's just come over from SmackDown that you could have really made a big deal of? And by the way, at one time he was a big deal, and I thought that would be really good because if Kalisto comes on Raw, he could just wrestle as he has been, but like make a big deal out of him, and then you kind of tease the idea of him going into 205 to challenge. You know, he'd be like another big name along with Austin Aries and Neville. But instead of that, of course, he gets the spot where he gets chucked in the flipping bin by Braun. And then, of course, the old Big Show comes barging in and says, "Peg on someone your own size," as if we haven't heard that before. Did you sense that spot coming, Matt, or did you not see it? And was it a big shock? And I guess, was it as good as before?
Well, you know, nothing can ever really beat the original, can it? I mean, once you know it can be done, it can happen again. But on this match, I can't say I was really surprised because, you know, they kept on teasing it. I mean, for some reason, Big Show thought it was a good idea to keep going to the turnbuckle because it wasn't just
climbing up the turnbuckle. It happened out of nowhere.
They kept doing that about 3 times trying to get up to the turnbuckle, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is looking a little bit suspicious. And I know some people might not have seen it before, but if anyone was following wrestling back then, that's an image that will stay in your mind. You won't just forget about it and go, oh yeah, of course, yeah, the ring exploded. Now that will always be one of Big Show's like big moments that people will remember about him. So yeah, I can't say I was blown away by it and shocked, but you know, I think it's about time. You know, it's been a long time since they've done it, and it's a shame not to use these kind of things more than once. So yeah, I'm glad they kind of did it again. It is a shocking moment, and just to go full circle, like what it said about Kalisto, am I right to believe these rumours that there could be an up and coming dumpster match, or is that just a lot of idle talk that I'm hearing? But I heard that after that, you know, the WWE might actually look into that avenue. It's been a while since they've done that kind of match. Yeah. You know, there's a kind of gimmick they've
well, again, 2 times I've mentioned him. Bring back Chainsaw Charlie. Of course, him and Mick Foley, Mankind had that match with Cactus Jack, of course, with the New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania 14. Remember that in the dumpster matches. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people, Matt, I mean, you know, through the night, a lot of people were tweeting that's going to happen because they didn't have the LED on, and then it kind of got around to a lot of people. But I think for the live audience, it was still a big shock. But I think people were tweeting each other up until that point, like, why is the LED screen not there? And I think once that match got booked, I think everybody kind of was just waiting. So it kind of took the fun out of that little bit. The only thing that kind of annoyed me about that is that when that happens, there are flipping paramedics, doctors coming out, and like, I'm thinking to myself, like, Yeah, he's took a slam like that before. Okay, the ring didn't collapse, but you're telling me it hurts more because it collapsed. And by the way, it's not